I was really impressed with the way they came back and got at it today after a disappointing loss. When you lose on the last play, sometimes it tends to linger. Especially in a game like that where the end of the game was so emotional. You come back and you score a touchdown to get the lead, and then a minute and really 4 seconds later they score to beat you. It can have an effect on young guys where they kind of a hangover effect, and you worry about that. You really do. But these guys came back today, and they were really businesslike and into it, and I think they understand the challenges that we face, number one, this week, and the opportunities that we have as well. So I was impressed with their attitude and the way they worked, and it's a good sign. And we've got to put together a great week of practice, and we've got to go up to Arizona and play very, very well. Fortunately for us, we have played well on the road. It hasn't been a big issue for us, and so I think we kind of embrace those types of things going into what's going to be a really hostile environment and performing well. So I expect us to play well. I expect us to have a great week of practice and go up there and compete like crazy.
What is it about this team that goes on the road and see? Is there a you against the world mentality that they do well on the road?
I think that's a great question. I think there's a little of that. I think it's a little of you get a little burn under your saddle, and us against them, and 70 against whatever it is, 50,000, 55, 60,000, and when you're on the road, it's just a different environment. It's you're secluded. You get on the plane together, and you get on the buses together, and you go to the hotel together, and there's not very many distractions, and I think it just brings you closer. And for some reason, I don't know what it is in these kids' DNA or in their background or what it is, but when they're the underdog, when people are telling them they can't do it, when they're on the road in a hostile environment, something happens to them. That they rise up. So I would hope that can happen again for us.
Josh, not having thrown an interception in 4 games now, is that just a function of this?
See, I didn't know that. Now you're put that in my mind. I was walking out of the tunnel the other day at halftime, and someone had told me, you've never lost when you're leading at half. And I'm like walking out, and that thought popped in my mind, and I was just hitting my head trying to get it out of my mind. And now you're telling me that. So finish your question. I'm sorry.
Is that just a function of his decision making, or is there a bit of good fortune through a few games that goes into that too?
Probably both. I think we've all seen the progress that he's made. I mean, it's really been phenomenal what he's been able to do over the course of the year in terms of just improving as a decision maker, his accuracy, his understanding of what we're trying to do. I think he's got great confidence in his receivers, and they've got confidence in him. And then I think there's always going to be some luck. You saw him huck that, and we talk about good decisions. He also made a bad decision where he just kind of off his back leg just hucked that one down the middle of the field, and I'm not sure who the receiver was, but he came back and kind of knocked it out, so it wasn't intercepted. You have to have some good fortune, but it's also him making good decisions.
Okay, Utah, what to you strikes you the most about Devontae Booker compared to some of the other good running backs we face this year?
He is, he's really something special. He's got tremendous quickness. He's got excellent balance. He's really good after contact. Because of that balance, he's got what we call collision balance. He's got speed, catch the ball. He's a a lot of times you worry about running backs that leap over tacklers, that open themselves up to injury. But he leaps and gets down quickly and keeps his balance and keeps running. And he runs with a real passion to get yards. He's an exceptional player. I'm glad he's a senior. And I look forward to watching him on Sundays next year and not Saturdays, because he's a special player.
How do you guys feel you've come along the run defense since kind of early October?
Yeah, we're better now. I think that you go back and you look at some of the adjustments that we had to make personnel-wise. And I've said this before. It's run defense is simple, but it's not easy. And it's you move linebackers around and their assignments change. It's not just run defense isn't just running up there and smacking somebody and making a tackle. It's a little bit more intricate than that. And when we made the adjustments that we were forced to make personnel-wise, it just took us a while to kind of settle down, and I think we've done that now. Like I watch our practice today compared to our practices a few weeks ago, just against some of the runs that we're seeing, and we're much more certain in what we're doing. And I think that just comes from repetition.
Is a lot of that linebackers being able to fill gaps better now than they were just, let's say, a month ago?
I think more certainty, yeah. So yes, because they're more certain of what they're supposed to do because they've done it more, and then it's that safety coming down in the box and fitting right, and it's winning in your gap up front. And I think a lot of it just has to do with having some chemistry up front finally. We came out of camp with a certain idea of who we were, and that changed very, very quickly for us, and we had to adjust, and I think we've adjusted fairly well now. So I hope I'm right.
I'm sorry. What's the status of Zako?
He practiced today. He did everything today. He looked good. I didn't see him hobbling around. Devin Fuller practiced today. I was mostly with the defense, but I watched him in pre-practice, and I watched him in individual and one-on-one, and he looked like he was moving okay. We'll see if he's sore or not afterwards. That was a rather significant ankle sprain. So hopefully we can get both of those guys back. Steven Johnson practiced. He had a red jersey on, but he practiced. So we'll see. I think that's a pain issue. I'd like to get him back out there. He gives us that elusiveness that we like. So Johnny practiced. He was a little limited. It's more of a neck, and it's really just pain going away, the pain and the stiffness going away. So I think he'll be okay. And then there was one other that was going to come to my mind here.
Josh Wood.
I think with his hamstring, I think that's going to be tough. And, I don't think that we want to play him if we don't have to. Hopefully we can get the year back for him. It was sad we were forced into using him the way we were. But that's the way the game goes sometimes. And if there's a way to salvage that year, we'd love to do that for him. There's somebody else that was dinged up a little bit that practiced. Oh, we got Pawasi back. Pawasi was out there full go today. So that was a good thing.
That was a fractured.
Yeah, but they were able to, he saw the doctor, they gave him clearance to go ahead and start practicing. He's bandaged up and he's taped up, but he doesn't have a club on his hand or anything like that, so he's got some functionality.
And Johnny Johnson, it's not shoulder related.
No, it was neck. I was worried it was shoulder. It's more neck, so I think he's going to be okay. I feel like he'll be okay.
With Stanford and Utah both losing last week, there's been talk about whether the Pac-12 kind of cannibalizes itself and has a 9-game league schedule too much. Do you have some opinion?
I think it's a really. I think that we are handicapped a little bit by the fact that we play late at night. People on the East Coast don't see the quality of football. I don't think it's a lot different than the SEC West, where it's a very competitive, as you know, very competitive conference. And you look at these teams, and it's hard to win every week. It's just really hard. It's hard to be a no-loss or one-loss team in this conference. And I don't think nationally people realize exactly how good this conference is. And they just see the win-loss records and go, well, the Pac-12 is not as good. But I would counter that and say I think the Pac-12 is better than it's ever been, top to bottom. You look at a team like Colorado, who's only won one conference game, but every week it seems that they're in it. And you look at what Cal's done, and then you look at what Washington State's done. They're 7-3. And then you see an Oregon team that's now getting it together and is able to beat Stanford. And USC's won 4 in a row. And Arizona State goes up and they fall behind and they come back and beat a really good Washington team. It's a great conference. So yeah, I think we're kind of eating ourselves up a little bit. It's unfortunate, but it's a great conference. Very competitive. It's hard. There's no easy ones. We don't play. I think when you have the 9-game conference schedule, you'll see some teams in some other conferences late in the season before their big rivalry games scheduling some teams that are probably on a lesser level than they are. We're not able to do that around here. So it is what it is. It keeps it fun. It keeps it competitive. You've got to stay in it.
guys.
All right, thanks.